Hello again. This is the end of the first quarter in 2022. We want to give you an update on the most detailed update we gave you previously was early January, and I highly recommend you go back and look at those videos. Many of the things we warned you could happen have already happened. So we want to update you on all of that. Keep this in mind. None of the experts have been right about what was going to happen in the first quarter this year. I didn't see a single one that got it right. So before you go reading the Wall Street Journal and listening to CNBC and all the other things, keep that in mind. This is a devilishly unpredictable market, and we're going to focus on common sense and facts that will always be true. So let's move it on. The first issue that all of you know about was interest rates. We said in January that rates will definitely go up, and they have, much more than we thought. Up 1.25% in the last 10 weeks, and higher mortgage payments are straining budgets for anybody looking to buy a house right now. They're paying much more than they would have a month ago, and I know that we get along.
Yeah, well, several people have voiced their concern. Where are the interest rates going? Are they staying, going up, going down? And that's a big concern for them.
And the answer is they're going up, and they're likely to keep going up, at least for a while. Here's the numbers on that. We're up 1.25% on the 30-year mortgage just in the last 10 weeks. That is driving up, and we'll give you some detailed numbers later on driving the numbers up to where some people are not even going to qualify where they could have. On even new construction, when it comes time for you to settle on your home, some of the people aren't going to be able to settle. These are facts that are happening right now and concerns you should have as a seller. On supply-demand issues, we still have a chronic shortage of housing for sale. The numbers for nationwide down 8% in January from the previous January, down 4% from the previous February.
Wow.
And they were low numbers last year.
I haven't seen any for sale signs in any neighborhoods, right? Have we? No.
Yeah, you go through any of the neighborhoods
around.
we cover. This is becoming into the spring here. And usually there's 4 or 5 homes for sale in these neighborhoods. We're not seeing anything on right now. So there are enough buyers out there that still continue to want a house, that still can qualify. And this factor, and in my mind it's the only factor that's holding up prices right now. So as a seller, you're still in control because of the lack of supply.
That's good.
And all of that. That can change. So just keep that in mind. Then third, the economic outlook, and it's very possible that we've fallen asleep on the possibility that the economic conditions in our area actually aren't always going up. It's not a one-way street. Seems a lot of people are acting that way. I sense a somewhat of less confidence than we had last year in terms of finances. Much of that is probably due to stock markets, 401ks going down, not up in the last 6 months. A
lot of our friends have mentioned that they're concerned about their 401k and their stock portfolios.
And they seem a little bit less confident about spending some discretionary spending. Keep that in mind, particularly on the upper end. The upper end is much more driven by economic activity, asset values, than it is interest rates. Of course, dramatic changes in interest rates will affect there. But this is a major factor for the upper end people. If this market doesn't start taking hold and moving higher and get rid of some of this volatility, that's going to be another issue to be concerned about. On trying to determine exact success and work from home movement, and will that continue to make people buy houses further out because they're confident that they're going to be able to work from home? Will they? We don't know the answer to that.
We don't. Will they still be working from home in 6 months from now?
Right.
You never know.
And on the commercial side, what's going to happen to all these office spaces if they do come from home? So this is a very influx situation that we're dealing with. Now I'm going to present this from the perspective of the listing agent, not as the buying agent, and you as the potential seller. on trying to decide whether or not you should sell your home into this market. Now we look at the three pillars, and let me go over this one with interest rates, because this is a factor. Say you have a $500,000 mortgage.
That's about the average around here.
Right, and I'm just saying that's about the average. It's true. And the monthly payment has jumped in the last 10 weeks on that mortgage from $2,105 to $2,451.
Oh, wow.
And if they increase another 1% from here, that will drive it up to $2,750 per month versus $2,105.
Wow. I had no idea how much higher the monthly payments could get. Wow. Because that's like your electricity and your other bills.
It is. It's about
cuts into your budget.
$650 per month increase. And this is in a very short period of time. We're talking about inflation rates at double digits right now. People talking about rates going much higher, not much lower, and the Fed trying to play catch up on this situation. That is probably the number one concern we have for pricing going forward here. And you'd have to be a Pollyanna to ignore it, okay? We're not trying to be negative here. These are just facts. Pillar number two, the supply-demand situation for now. The supply is so chronically short that it continues to be a seller's market. You can continue to get higher prices. It may not be quite as easy as it was 2 or 3 months ago, but we're still seeing great houses go for multiple offers and going quickly. Houses are still selling quickly because there's very few for sale. It's not that the buyer pool is that great, but it's way higher than the seller pool. Keep in mind that it doesn't take that much of a shift for that to change. You know, if enough people start putting their house on the market, you're going to start seeing things linger on the market a little bit longer. So I am not thinking that we're going to see this massive increase like we saw last year.
But so is it better to sell now?
That's a very, very good question. And we're going to get into all of that because there's a lot of issues on when to sell, particularly if I sell now, where do I go?
Right.
And you're going to face the same issues that the buyers are facing now that are causing them to buy your house at a high price. You're going to be faced with the same issues right now. So there are ways around that we'll get into. In fact, we'll have another video on that. That's a really important subject. But if you want to get the highest price and easiest sale, and we'll work around that, there is not a better time than right now.
That's
we
good.
said the same thing 2 or 3 months ago. We may be not quite as hot as we were then, but it's not going to get any better than this in the near future if you're selling. On your outlook on pillar number 3 with the economic outlook, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know what the office of the future is going to look like. I don't know what the economy is going to look like. I don't know the impact of interest rates, although it can't be a positive, and how much that's going to affect things. But, you know, we're keeping in touch with neighborhoods. We're keeping in touch with the types of housing that seem to be coming in and out of demand. That's the real important issue right now, not some global perspective of how much have prices gone up nationwide. But, you know, who cares? You care about your house and your neighborhood and what you're going to get for your house, and that's what we're going to be focusing on.
It's your biggest investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's happening in McLean could be entirely different from what's happening in Bethesda, which could be entirely different than what's happening in Reston or Great Falls or any of the other places, a condo versus a single-family home, etc. We'll get into all that. If you have questions or comments on any of this, please call or text. You know, we're always here. We're always looking forward to discussing things with people.
Well, you know, when I watch TV, I see these discount brokers, and I'm like, why do people, what's the draw? Because it seems like they have a lot of advertising going on, and they're always claiming to save you all this money.
Well, there is this thing about eliminating the middleman. And, you know, we're in our Amazon, eBay type society. Everybody thinks they're going to get a quote-unquote discount. They'll get it better online. And unfortunately, they group all real estate agents and realtors into one bucket, and that's a crazy comparison to make. Now, here's my question. Why on earth would you choose to sell your home through some flim-flam scheme presented by a discount broker or these iBuyers, we'll get into them later on too, who have extreme non-refundable costs, if you know whether you use them or not, and it's beyond belief when you can get a professional real estate team like us.
Right.
And I understand this is a small percentage of the available real estate agents, so don't lump us all in one book, please. But you can get this kind of a professional team. And we're not going to charge any more than these people you see on TV. The age of the 6% realtor commission, which they all use as the comparison, has been gone for a long time. Nobody's paying 6%. Nobody's charging. We're not even close to that, actually.
No.
So the chances are you're going to get the same commission structure for us, and guess what? You're going to get so much more marketing, promotion, negotiation,
service,
sales, professionalism, and hopefully to be a lot more fun to deal with. On all of this, you're going to get, so why go with these iBuyers? Why go with these guys you see on TV that are, quite frankly, lying through their teeth with what they're saying to you? You're not cutting out a middleman. No. And that shouldn't be your first objective. You're going to sell your house 2 or 3 times during the course of your life. Do it right, and do it with the right people, and you will not regret it later on. Anything else that you...
Well, I just think so many people think the 6% fee is a fixed fee. And do they know that 3% is the listing and 3% is the buyer agent?
Right.
And do they know it's negotiable?
And the people who are saying that they're doing it for 2% on the line, that's just one side of the transaction.
Right.
That's just the listing agency.
So there's still the other 3%. They still have to
pay 2.5 or 3 to the buyer agent.
Last time I checked.
That's very common, and we will at least do that, if not lower, depending on your situation. And remember, those who are offering you something for nothing are going to give you just that, nothing. So we look forward to hearing from you. We have a lot of other topics. Please look at our other videos. And thank you very much for sticking with us on this one.
Yes.